This year, December 2nd, is kicking off the 100 years of Callas. It is her 100. It would be her 100th birthday, but we lost her in 1977. It's been almost 50 years that she's been gone, but she still is regarded as this icon in the opera world. So what cements that? Is it just her voice?
It's her individuality. It's her whole package. It's the fact that she persevered as an opera singer with a voice that some people are not really thrilled with. Some people think, and I agree at times, she had a really ugly voice. She could have a really ugly instrument and made some not nice sounds. Her voice was imperfect technically. There are many people who could sing rings around her technically. And we often make jokes in academia that if Maria Callas auditioned for Juilliard today, she would never get in. Because we expect such flawless perfection out of our singers now. And what we love about Maria are those flaws.
Mm-hmm.
The voice that she refused to completely integrate because it didn't suit the situation. The singing of roles and arias that were wildly inappropriate for her because she liked the drama of the moment. Doing the wrong things for the right reasons for her. Acting her way through moments where other opera singers were merely convenient and standing there.
All of this goes into the Maria Callas mythos. She was a powerhouse performer.
For that segue, because that was a great segue. Because I do want to talk about divas.
Yes,
this is part of the myth of the diva, and what makes a diva is not always success. And I want to make a list, like, let's just name some divas, but I'm going to name some divas specifically that didn't survive their own fame. And I think Callas is in that category. She did not survive her own fame.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I see, and yes, because I'm a professional musician, I feel pretty confident saying this. I have seen and heard performances from these people that I understood somewhere at a soul deep level that they were giving away too much of themselves. You give and give as a musician, and it's not the romantic idea of it. It is a little bit, but in performance, most successful musicians pretty much stay dispassionate because you have a job to do and you're doing what you'd already planned on doing. And you stay within those boundaries. But Callas never understood how to stay in that boundary. And I think that's what made her the more rabid end of fans tend to love that kind of, they hear that kind of self-sacrifice, that kind of very dark, suicidal edge to the performance, and they really feed on it. But it makes it really thrilling for those of us who don't have that kind of psychosis. It's still very thrilling, but we're not really able to see why. I think Judy Garland.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to her sing, for me particularly, in A Star Is Born, when she sings The Man That Got Away, when she hits that bridge and then she hits the final chorus, my instinct is to be like, back out, back. You're starting to like bleed it, your soul out here. You're giving too much away. I think Amy Winehouse was that. Just couldn't keep it. It's like their soul was too much for their body.
Jill, I thought this was going to be a much more lighthearted segment when we talked about what I was going to be like, we're going to talk about Cher and Madonna and.
But I'm saying that there's that makes up part of Maria Callas's mythos, because we're not staging a play called Masterclass by Beyonce.
Though I would also see that. I would also see that show, to be honest.
But she's definitely somebody who's created her own mythos, right?
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Very carefully cultivated her image and her myth, and is super successful at it, and doesn't have any of the tragic life instances that Maria Callas had. But she's still a diva. What makes her a diva? What makes Taylor Swift a diva?
But I would almost argue that Swift, and I'm not a Swiftie by any means, but I almost think that Taylor Swift is trying to cultivate an anti-diva. Like she
Oh,
is, there are definitely people who would put her in the diva camp.
yeah. Would you say that Dolly Parton is a diva?
I feel like we imbue divas with such a specific set of like emotional characteristics that it's
Right.
like, is
Because
she a
I
heightened
call
version of herself? Yes, but does she, but at the same time she's such a humanitarian.
Dolly, I can't remember if we're talking about Masterclass and Dolly Parton.
But I think there is something about a woman in control of the narrative and direction, and or what happens when that starts to fall away. There's the
Yeah,
Macbeth comes in Act Two, and it's juxtaposed specifically with her relationship with Aristotle Onassis,
I'm gonna
which
say, I mean, how it's awfully hard to think of someone who created the myth of being the brokenhearted one. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Because the mythos is that she never recovered from that. She never recovered from Onassis leaving her for Jackie.
mhm.
And her voice, she just never got over it. It broke her heart, it broke her spirit, it broke her voice. Ugh. I mean, that's a hell of a choice to make for a person of her stature. I've never heard of an opera singer who deliberately decided to take that kind of a career turn. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, who would wish to be at the top of their game and then all of a sudden start slipping up after an international scandal where your boyfriend broke up for you for the widow of Jack Kennedy?
It's
I mean,
it's epic, but I mean this was news. This was headline news.
major news.
This was
Major
the
news.
TMZ of the 70s,
Oh,
This is
but
like an
this is
opera
like
version of Olaf Presents. She's dead. Judy Garland's dead. Amy Winehouse is dead.